Hey, it's Trevor again, and today we're going to go through the next layer of Trevorwithdata, which is metrics and dimensions. Sometimes people call this a semantic layer, but it's essentially the next piece of the puzzle you need in order to do analysis based on some data. In the past, we've covered source connectors, data sets, data groups, but today we're going to talk about metrics and dimensions. Metrics and dimensions essentially allow you to create the little building blocks to do analysis. So, like a marketing channel or revenue or looking at sessions or all that kind of good stuff. And there's a lot that really goes into building metrics and dimensions. And so I'm excited to walk you through how that all works today. So to start, let's actually head over to notebooks so that we can get into a place where we can start doing some analysis. Now, I've got a table here and I've got some data, and you can see I already have some dimensions and metrics. So to create a dimension, let's go ahead and just hit new. You can see I've got a rich canvas of stuff to think about here. I've got a display name. I can give a name to my dimension. I can give it an ID. That's how the API will use it. I can give it a description. And then I can also set persistence on it. But the really fun part is how we actually then go about defining a dimension. So a dimension is based on the fields that exist within my data group. Over here on the right-hand side, you can see all the fields that I've got from my data group that I can pull from. So I've got things like my device info in here. Let's see if I look at device model, I can do a quick preview and see all the different device models that I've got in my data. If I wanted to create a device model dimension, it would be as simple as clicking plus and adding that field into my SQL expression here. I can preview it as well, just to make sure that my device model dimension will actually work. But you can see it's working fine. But if I wanted to actually turn this into a dimension, we'll just say, okay, let's create this device model and we'll give it an ID, device model, the model of the device. Okay. Now, if I save this, and then if I refresh my list here, I can see I've got device model. And when I drag that in, you can see what's happening is it's actually using the field and doing all of that semantic, stuff behind the scenes to help me produce this report easily. So now I've got this nice, clean device model dimension. Pretty simple. But where we're going to take things to the next level is showing you the power of really using all of the capabilities of this SQL expression here in the middle. Now, I'm not a super SQL pro. I can get by or fake it sometimes with SQL. And so rather than just, depend on my SQL skills, what we've added is a nice AI assistant to help you write that for you so you don't have to know any SQL. So let's create a marketing channel dimension. I want a marketing channels dimension. And I want to include AI answer engines, like people coming from ChatGPT. I need paid social and paid search and anything else you think is relevant in my data to include. Now, when I run that, the AI assistant actually has the ability to go look at all of my fields. It can query sample values from those fields. And what it's doing is it's creating an opinion about all the different places that it might want to pull data from to create a marketing channels dimension. And it will kind of validate that SQL and plop it in here. So let's give it a second and see what it does. Awesome, it's done. Now let's see what it gave us. So you can see it kind of got my AI answer engines. It included Claude and OpenAI and stuff, which is really cool. It found my marketing UTM medium field, which is good. It found paid search out of there. Oh, and it found the UTM source. So that's really good too. So it's found that for paid social. It's using the referrer in there. So you can see it's looking for specific referrers. Um, and really, it kind of just did all this work for me, which is actually really cool. But what's cool is how you can really combine different fields together. You can do lower casing, you can do searching and regular expressions and all that really cool stuff. And I didn't have to know it. Even if I did know it, it'd be, I could put it in here, but the AI can kind of do it for me. So when I do a preview of this, I can make sure it works. And I can see it's giving me some really nice, clean dimension values in here, which is really awesome. But now I'm going to show you the next bit of thing that you will want to know about for dimensions, and that's persistence. So oftentimes when I am doing marketing channel analysis, I need to know whether this was first touch or last touch, or sometimes we use all like participation to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do last touch within a session and basically rename this to my last touch marketing channel. So let me rename that here. And then I'm going to create this and we'll see how it goes. Awesome. Okay, let's replace the device model with our last touch marketing channel. And you can see I've got my events in here already. That's cool. And I can see these awesome values. But now I can actually add in, things like my order count. And it's using the attribution and all of the really neat logic that I added in there automatically. And because we're doing this all at query time, I could go back and edit this and change it, and it would apply retroactively and non-destructively to the data, which is really cool. So, you can see I've got this little edit pencil. If I click on that, it allows me to come right back in here and tweak it. So if I forgot a referrer or something like that. But anyway, sweet. Now I've got this really cool last touch marketing channel. Now, last thing I'm going to show you is metrics. So with metrics, I might have like a total revenue metric, for example. And the tricky part is oftentimes with metrics, you have to be able to do something called deduplication. Deduplication is important on a metric, especially like revenue, because you'll have things that have an order ID. And sometimes when people are on a confirmation page, they refresh that page and, it double counts it. So to get rid of that problem, we have something called metric deduplication. And when I turn that on, basically it allows me to have an optional deduplication field. I believe I have an order ID in here somewhere. There we go, order ID. So all I have to do is say use my order ID field and keep the first one that you see if you deduplicate by order ID. And you can see the field it's using is actually just order value, which works great. And let me go ahead and update this metric. And it should give me a nice deduplicated revenue. Let me refresh the report here. And there you go. I don't know if I had any actual duplicates in the data itself, but the deduplication is really useful. And there's all sorts of amazing things you can do with metrics, especially when you're willing to use the AI assistant. So for example, give me a metric of users who purchased something. Like oftentimes you want to have just a purchasing customers metric. The AI is really good at figuring this out. Awesome, it did it. So you can see it's found not only the purchase event in my web data, but also the mobile purchase, which is named slightly differently in my mobile data. And then it's giving me a count distinct on the person ID. And you can also see one of the nice things is that it gives me a nice friendly display name. It came up with a unique metric ID for me and gave me a nice friendly description so everyone can see what this is in the future. Now, if I go ahead and create that metric, and I can drag that metric into my table here. And now I have a nice new unique purchasing users metric that I didn't have before. So really easy, really straightforward, and really showing you the power of having a semantic layer on top of your data with metrics and dimensions. So thanks for watching and good luck out there, and we'll see you again next time.